What is up, world? What is up, ladies and gents? The fellas are in house tonight. Special show tonight. This Tuesday, we are doing our March Madness bracket, giving out each of the regions who we like, who we think is going to take home the grand championship, as well as we got plays coming your guys' way from each of our regions. Special show again tonight, guys. We studied it, made our brackets, and we're ready to rock and roll. The fellas are in house tonight, and we are off and rolling, guys. Let's get this thing on the road. Of course, North Glenn's finest in the building. We have Sach, man. How are we feeling, Sach?
Feeling great. Did a lot of homework, a lot of research. I like the two plays I got going. It's like this is just one of the craziest, like up in the air. You're getting so many different opinions. Obviously, I'm watching YouTube videos, injury reports, and I think I sniffed out some two good ones. Both underdogs, little teaser. So I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. I'm happy to see what we all got collectively, and to make our own brackets and whatnot. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what we got together and what Whit and E their opinions on some of the plays and teams that I got. So I'm ready to roll today.
Absolutely, guys. We got our man down below in the LA Dodgers hat and that glass in his hand. We got Whit in the building. Whit, how we feeling?
Feeling good, man. Tough bracket this year. I think it's going to be a doozy. Remember last year we didn't have any number 1 or number 2 seeds make the Final Four. I don't think that'll be the case this year, but it's going to be a good one.
100%. And then, of course, ladies and gents, we got the money man himself, the Teflon Don, back on behind him. We got Big E in the house. E, how we feeling?
Hey, fired up, outstanding. This is what it's all about. We've been waiting for this day, waiting for this evening. Same as Sach. Got two plays I like in that first Thursday, Friday, Eastern bracket. Think they should hit. Feeling really good. 3-0 tonight on my picks. So if you caught the afternoon selection, I'm looking to carry that momentum. It's all about momentum, guys. Carry that momentum into tonight. Talk about this Eastern quadrant.
100% ladies and gents, but we are live on YouTube, Twitch, and X, and we are ready to get rolling, guys. This is our March Madness bracket show. Sending out our regions, sending out our plays. Catch the early lines while you can, and let's get into the madness right now and get going. We'll start with Big E over in the East.
Over in the East, yes. Hey, and not just because I have the East. It's got the number 1 seed. You have UConn out there. I just a personal opinion on this. Well, not personal, because if you look at it, I think this is the hardest bracket or the hardest quadrant there is for UConn. They're the number 1 seed. They should have the easiest route to the Final Four. But I know you guys are aware of Ken Pom, but for those of you guys that aren't out there, Ken Pom he has a power index. It's used by most handicappers. It's used by most experts. And for the top 4 in the East, so we're looking at UConn, Iowa, Illinois, and Auburn are all in Ken Pom's top 10. And you're just like, how did all those fish get into one side? But we're good to go. It's going to be a great matchup either way. We go ahead and get started. Let me bring up my bracket out there, guys. Starting out, the number 1 seed, UConn. UConn, I got them as a dub. Stetson, it's over, right? So go ahead. We're gonna take UConn to move on. The next one, Northwestern, FAU. I know. I hear it. I can't turn on the radio without hearing about FAU, and they made the Final Four last year. I just feel it's not last year. This will be my first lower seed beating a top seed. It's an 8-9, so not too much, but I'm going with Northwestern to beat FAU. Down to the next one, the same. A lot of chatter. Everybody loves these 12-5 matchups. Last year, none of the 12s won, and I don't think this 12 is going to win either. San Diego State come out representing the Mountain West. I have them taking out UAB. We'll go down to that 4. We'll go down to Auburn versus Yale. You guys know from just listen to me, right? I love watching the Ivy League. Yale won the Ivy League, but there are levels to this game. and Auburn is just going to wrap this up. As good as Auburn's offense is, their defense is even better. So I don't see – this could be the bloodbath of the first round. Anything can happen March Madness, but I just think Yale got a bad draw. These guys – if Auburn shows up and when they struggle, it's always been on the road. They're really, really dominant at home. But I'll take Auburn over Yale. Moving down to the lower quadrant of the East, we'll stick with the favorite there, BYU. And then again, Illinois. I know a lot of guys are also on it's the underdog, right? It's the week of the underdog or the season of it. But Illinois should be able to take out Morehead State. They had a good run in the Big Ten. I like where we're at with it. Give me Illinois. And then my Cinderella pick, you'll see as we go through these brackets, but I really think Drake, have Drake over Washington State. Man, Drake's got it. They got everything I like, right? You got the senior guard, you got the senior center, you got the 2-time conference player of the year out there. I think Drake's going to make some noise. They could get to the Elite Eight. They're not getting there for me, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But they will catch Washington State, and that's kind of my first. I'm sorry, and Iowa State over South Dakota State. Witt had a good point. South Dakota State is on the come up, but they're just not there yet. They're not there yet. Iowa State to get that win over South Dakota State. That's my first Thursday, Friday games. Do you guys got something, or you want me to keep going back to the top again?
No, yeah, I think I love what you're doing with Illinois and Iowa State. I agree with that 100%. When you look at Illinois' wins, you look at what Iowa State has done. You can preview this on the ESPN bracket right below. You can kind of see their quality wins of what they did, who they did it to. And those two teams, I think, are on a collision course. I think they'll both make it to where you have them. When you look at Iowa State, they beat Houston 57-53 in January. They beat Kansas late January. Then they lost a close one to Houston, but they beat BYU and they beat Baylor and they beat Houston again. So their last 3 games, they beat BYU, they beat Baylor, who's a 3 seed, and Houston. And then they beat Kansas along that way too in January, along with beating Houston. So 2 out of 3 against Houston, which is just nuts. So I think they're a much stronger team than people are giving them credit for, and I think that one's going to be interesting for sure.
The team is there, right? And they have. You guys know my formula. They have senior players. The concern is the coach, Brad Underwood. The past 3 tournaments, he hasn't made it to the second weekend. He got bumped once in the first round, and he won 1 first-round game to get to the weekend. But the team is solid. The coach, I don't know if he's going to get there. But, yeah, absolutely, it's a beast. So, ZJ, you want me to keep going all the way out?
Yeah. Keep branching.
Okay. So we'll go over to the next week. Let me get back to the top. That would set us up with a UConn Northwestern matchup. And again, I got UConn. It's no surprise with that one. Right below, Auburn, San Diego State. Hey, San Diego State had a good ride, but time for the Mountain West to go on home on this side of it. Go ahead. What'd you say? Oh.
Keep going, E.
Oh, okay. Thought you guys said something. And then Illinois over BYU, and of course Iowa State. I can see Drake getting to the Elite Eight, but for me, doing this bracket with you guys, I gotta go with where the heart's at. That's Iowa State will beat Drake. Drake has the tools to do it, but their ride will be over as well, which will bring us back to that UConn Auburn matchup. This is a dogfight. This is going to be special. This is going to be the game, I feel, probably the game of that day. But you guys know I'm in the East for a reason. I'm a big East guy, so give me UConn. UConn to face Iowa State. We'll have the 1 and the 2 going at it with UConn going out to the Final Four.
Wow, I'm big on Auburn too. I love Bruce Pearl. I love Auburn every single year. His teams just play the right way. They usually have guys that are 3-4 years. They just made the run to win the what league are they in? They just won their conference championship tournament. My brain's all over the place, but
they're in the SEC.
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 Are they? Okay, they are in the SEC. God, I keep forgetting, but yeah, I mean, I like the Auburn to make it there, and then Auburn's my team. I like that you said that's going to be a dogfight. That one.
Yeah, this is tough. Drake, even like I said, that's the Cinderella player out there. We got some ham and eggers, but they'll be eliminated early, and then the cream's going to rise to the top in this thing, and comes down to who's healthy and who's got the momentum. But that's kind of my bracket on that side. I have a complete bracket filled out. They're not all favorites making it to the Final Four. It's just happened to be UConn coming out of that one. You want me to give the two plays I like?
Yeah, toss them.
All right. And the first one is, of course, and if you guys wanted, I'd say grab these now because the line's changing. This one started as an underdog as a before we went on the show. Drake is minus 1.5, even though they're the 10 seed, even though they're a lower seed, they're favored in that game. Mm-hmm. So if you like that, go ahead and get on that now because by Thursday, maybe up to 3 points. And that's a pretty big shift. And then the other one, even though we're laying a lot of points, give me Auburn minus 13. Like I said, I watched the Ivy League play. They're good. It's fun, but it's levels to this. And man, if Bruce Pearl lets these guys out in that defense, I don't even know if Yale's getting 20 points the first half. It's just going to be – it has the makings to be that. So I'll lay the 13 with Auburn, and I'll lay 1.5 with Drake. Those are my two picks coming out the first round in the East.
Well, I like those ones. I'll definitely be on the Auburn play and the Drake play as well. Drake's not a popular team, and if E likes Drake, then I'm taking Drake. So
I stay in the weeds.
Yeah, you stay in the weeds, you stay in the mountain, and you stay everywhere. Whatever's good.
Yeah, so it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to see what you guys have, and then the rest of our brackets will be posted. I'm sure ZJ will get them out, but
yeah,
let's go, as ZJ would say.
100%, guys, live on YouTube, Twitch, and X. We got some live views and listeners in the chat. We're going over each of our region for our bracket, as well as we're tossing out some sports bets for you guys this coming Thursday and Friday. Just stay listening to what we're talking about tonight because each of us have sports bets we're tossing out for the Thursday and Friday games. E's cover East, as you can see up above. We'll move over to Wit, and we'll see what he's got for us. Some madness and badness combination.
Yes,
you're on mute, Wit.
So he wants to keep it secret. He's got all the winners.
Yeah, sheesh, wow.
I'm just over here doing my thing, man. Just doing my thing, letting ZJ have his airtime. You know what I mean? I don't want to get hit with a wisdom fucking impromptu. Hey, I'm out here in the West, man, and we're not even going to waste a lot of time, man, out here in San Diego with this first matchup. North Carolina, Wagner. We're going to go North Carolina. I think everyone's clear on that. That would be a huge upset, probably the biggest upset in history. Wagner almost blew it today anyways. They had 3 good looks against Howard. Howard should have tied that game at least, but I'm going North Carolina there. You go down to Mississippi State and Michigan State. I'm always with Tom Izzo this time of the year. Michigan State has played well, has not got the results they wanted late in the year, but has played everyone tough. They're moving in the right direction. Talk about momentum. I think when you look at Tom Izzo's teams, fundamentally sound. They're going to do good. And then here's my first team that I think is going to make some noise, man. St. Mary's Gale. I think they're going to beat Grand Canyon. I think that's going to be a better game than most people think. St. Mary's Gale has some NBA-ready wing players. And then I just think they're going to overwhelm Grand Canyon late in the game with their athleticism and what they can do. And then you go down to Alabama, Charleston. I'm Alabama all the way. Alabama had some key wins this year. And I just think that's what they're going to do. They're going to take care of business against Charleston. I think that game I'm not really interested in watching. I think they'll breeze through that. Coming down the lower quadrant, you got Clemson, New Mexico. Here's another team I think is going to make more noise than people would think in the tournament. Clemson. When you look at what Clemson has done and their quality wins, I think they don't just win this game but I think they go deep in the tournament. They beat Alabama. They beat TCU. They beat North Carolina. They beat Pitt. They have quality wins on their resume. I think you'll see them go deeper in the tournament than a lot of people are giving them chances. But don't sleep on New Mexico out in the Mountain West. Some huge wins out there as well, and a quality team. But I'm going to go with Clemson in this matchup, and then go down to Baylor and Colgate. What's that?
All good.
Yeah, and then go down to Baylor and Colgate. I'm taking Baylor. I think Baylor's had an amazing season. I think they're going to continue to roll and get through the first round. Dayton and Nevada. When you really look at this matchup, Nevada, I think the Mountain West could have. It looks like they're on pace to have 7 teams, potentially 8. But it looks like they're on the path to have 7 with this Colorado State whooping that they're putting on Virginia right now. But if you look at what Nevada has done this year, beat TCU, Utah State, who was ranked 18th in the season, San Diego State, quality win, UNLV at UNLV, and then Boise State as well. And all those teams are in the tournament. So I think you'll see them win. Arizona, I think they handle Long Beach State. I think Love does his thing in that game. Coming all the way back up, you got North Carolina against Michigan State. I think this is where the road runs out for Izzo, but I do think they get out of the first round. I'm going North Carolina, and then this is probably going to be the first, I wouldn't say upset because it's a 5-4 matchup, but St. Mary and Alabama. When you look at St. Mary, a lot of people probably are not familiar with them, but let me just run through their resume for you. Beat New Mexico early in the season, lost to Xavier. That was a tough loss. Colorado State beat them, and then 2 out of 3 against Gonzaga. They beat Gonzaga, and they were all close games except the 2 that they won. They won by double digits, so 9 and then a double-digit win. So I think you'll see St. Mary's get through. I think they'll be playing Bama because Bama's going to take care of Bama will take care of St. Mary's going to beat Bama, and then they're going to be playing North Carolina in the next round. Clemson, Baylor. This is another big one. When you look at what Clemson has done, I know Baylor. A lot of people like Baylor. I'm just looking at what the wins say, the athleticism. I think Clemson is ready. They were right towards the end of the year. They beat Alabama. They beat TCU. They beat North Carolina by 5, and then beat Pitt. So when you look at those things and you look at who Baylor's beat and what they're doing, Baylor lost to Duke. They beat Iowa State. That's their quality win, but they lost to Kansas, lost to Houston. They beat Kansas and they lost to Iowa State again. So you got some tough matchups, but I'm going to go with Clemson on that one. And then you got Dayton and Arizona. I know I think he was liking Dayton, but not to get past Arizona. And I say the same thing. So headed back up to North Carolina and St. Mary's. North Carolina's too talented, too big, too many top, ESPN 100 players. They're going to beat St. Mary. And then you'll go down to Arizona and Clemson. This is going to be a better game, I think, than a lot of people think. When you look at what Arizona has done throughout the season, and I can't wait for the next round because I think Arizona wins this game. And I think you got Duke. They beat Duke. They beat Wisconsin. Alabama, they beat Utah twice, so they have some huge wins. These are just games I'm picking out from their schedule. But the real thing I want to see Love against his former team, North Carolina, and I think in that matchup, I think Arizona is going to prevail. I have Arizona as my team coming out of the bracket to be in the Final Four when you look coming out of the West. But I think the West is extremely entertaining. I think there'll be some quality games. I think the East, what you just talked about, I think you have 3 to 4 really freaking dangerous teams. When you come down to what I'm talking about on the West, you really have North Carolina and you have Arizona and maybe Baylor, Clemson. We'll see how that works out. But for the most part, I think that's the bracket down there in the West. But, man, that East, just looking at that, I'm glad I didn't draw that quadrant with Iowa State, with Illinois, Auburn, freaking UConn. I mean, you name it. San Diego State. I think they're always, a heater to get to the Sweet 16. So, yeah, man, that's the West. That's what I got out here in San Diego. I don't have any picks for you guys today. If you know Whit, I'm spontaneous. I'm going to be out on scene. I'm going to have some suds in my hand. I'm not going to give you no duds, but I'm going to be drinking some suds. and I'm gonna go live, and I'll give you a couple picks. There'll probably be some point spreads, some things going on out there. We'll see how the lines move. But I think there's some good games, and they might not be specifically in the West, but I'll have one for you in the West. But I think I have another pick, a sleeper pick that I'd like to give you potentially. We'll see how it shakes out. But huge news in NCAA from a Kansas perspective. So I think we'll see what it looks like in that region.
I'll tell you what, Whit, I'm all the way with you with Arizona. I love it. I think Arizona gets to the 4. Really like that one. I'll tell you the one thing for people out there that I think is the sleeper team, and this is kind of one of my sleeper team for my bracket. I know Whit didn't have them, but the New Mexico Lobos, I think, are a huge sleeper team in this. They are, if not the best team in the Mountain West. Mountain West was going crazy this year.
Whoa, E's making faces. Sorry, I had to say it. Wow.
No, I'm not even playing. I know. Look, I'll go against Proud, but we can clip this right here, right now. I think.
Wow.
I think New Mexico. I think New Mexico not only beats Clemson. I think New Mexico is going to have a run with Baylor as well.
I'm just shocked that came out of ZJ came out of the state of Colorado and said something positive about a team that's in the same conference as his Colorado State, Rams, that are just putting a shellac.
New Mexico's crazy, man. New Mexico's wild.
21 points on Virginia.
They lost at home. This is what everybody forgets with them. They want to talk about what they did. They lost at home 18 points to the Air Force Academy by 18 points in the pit. You go to the pit, they're at home, and they lose by 18 points with a bunch of cadets. And I don't mind your pick, but to call them the best team in the Mountain West, they got 8 teams that are possibly going to make it, and that's your top team in the Mountain West. Respect to your pick.
Real quick. Shout out to all the fellas over there in the Air Force Academy. But where are they on this list?
And they beat New Mexico by 18 points in New Mexico. I'm just saying. All right, I love the take and everything. This is one of my dark horses, though. The New Mexico Lobos. Again, I think they're going to beat Clemson, and I honestly believe they are going to give Baylor a run here. You could be right.
I'll say this. I do like New Mexico coming out of the first round. Obviously, it could go either way because Clemson, they have a pretty decent resume too. I like New Mexico in the first round. I think that one's going to be a dogfight. I mean, they're a scrappy team, so I like New Mexico for that part. I'm curious to see what the spread is on that one. Or no, New Mexico's favored, huh?
Yeah. Pretty sure they're favored in that one. I'm telling you, they're tough. The Mountain West was tough this year, man. There's a lot of Mountain West teams in this tournament.
That's an 11.
That's
an 11 seed.
I guess my concern with this analysis, DJ, is like Sach is like, oh wait, they're favored in this one. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're favored. If that's your dog, if that's who you're riding with, saddle bronc, bareback, whatever, you should know how fast that horse runs if they're favored against the horse that they're playing against in every fucking round. That's your dog. How far you think they're going? Sweet 16, Elite 8? Where you think they're going?
I think they're going to give Baylor a run.
You have them out of the weekend, right? Getting out Thursday and then possibly out of Saturday.
Yeah. So you're saying when they get to Baylor, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Nothing crazy. You don't have fun. All right, man. Hey, you know my facial expressions. My bad.
No, I'm. You guys say what you. I love. Like I said, I love Witt's bracket, what he's got there and everything. Yeah. I love Arizona coming out, going to the 4 and everything. I'm just calling out my dark horse. That's my dark horse, Mexico.
So you got them beating Clemson.
I got Clemson beating New Mexico.
I think what you're going to see out of the Mountain West is those were a bunch of slightly above average teams that just split most of the year. You know what I mean? And I don't think you're going to see a lot of them go too far. I think they lack athleticism. I think their guard play is subpar when you get to the ACC, you get to the Big East, you get to the SEC. I think they're going to run into a lot of problems unless they hit shots.
And again, right? Everybody, we're just here trying to do our best. But you're looking at a Clemson team that beat the number 1 seed already in North Carolina. They beat Alabama, the 4 seed already this season. I mean, they got some killer wins on their list, but not only call it media, but New Mexico has been the sexy. But if you look at everything, we'll see. I mean, it definitely could happen, but just to blow off a team that's already beat the number 1 seed, has already beat Alabama, and they're both in their bracket, that's interesting. I do like North Carolina, like you said, going out. I actually have Alabama beating North Carolina, but they can just as easily win. This is what's nice about North Carolina, I feel. The Roy Williams, North Carolina, never played defense. This team plays defense. And so they can hang with anybody. I won't say they never played defense.
Number one defense in the country. Number 1 defense in the country, giving up 69.2 points.
Yeah, so that's gonna be hard. But I guess that's another conference, right? The East and West. We're probably going to say that about all 4. Nothing. I can't nitpick on anything. I just have a different team coming out, and that's nice because all 3 of us do. Who'd you say you had coming out of there, ZJ?
I got Arizona coming out. You're right.
Yeah, out of the West.
I got Arizona coming out of the West, and then obviously I got UConn coming over coming out. I got UConn, Bama, and then Witt's got his. Who do you have coming out? Oh, never mind, Sach. Oh, never. Yeah, you're not doing the West. Who do you got out West?
Myself.
That's coming out of the West.
Yeah.
I have North Carolina.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yes, we got a lot. I like it.
No, I love it.
North Carolina's experience, and they brought in even a couple other. They brought in Cormac Ryan, who's another veteran guard he's about 22, 23 years old. Obviously, you pair that with ACC Player of the Year, Armando Bacot, and then you got. I just like North Carolina, and I'm a Duke guy, but I got to give credit where it's due. Yeah. I like North Carolina.
They're playing good. They're playing really, really exceptionally well. So they're number 1 seed, right?
I think they got bored in the ACC title game. I think they weren't as focused. I think they weren't dialed in. I think if it was a tournament, I think it would have been a different outcome.
Yep. And there was really nothing on the line for them. Like they probably knew that they can get away with it. And like you said before, when you said North Carolina State has to win to get in, and they just went on a run. It was 2 completely North Carolina State's fighting to get in the tournament. UNC still can lose and get a number 1 seed. So yeah, that's what I think kind of what happened in the ACC tournament as well.
But no, cool stuff, fellas. We got 12 live viewers and listeners right now. This is the BCS. This is our March Madness bracketology, guys. We're going through it. Each of us have a region, so we're kind of specializing in our region, as well as giving you out sports bets tonight for the Thursday and Friday game coming up. Going to be a lot of action, guys. Good opportunity to make extra cash, as well as we're talking bracket whole in general, who we think dark horses, who we believe is going to win the whole thing, who we think's looking tough. If you guys are in the chat right now, throw us some questions or comments our way. Any teams you want to talk about or whatnot, we will dissect it with you guys for the next hour up until about 9:20 or so. That's Mountain Standard Time. So we are off and rolling. Cool stuff.
Hey, can I get one more addendum, ZJ? So I get one more thing. I just feel like I have to say it. And anything can happen, but New Mexico finished 7th in the Mountain West out of 12, and all of a sudden they're the best team in the Mountain West. I don't see – that's the only thing that zinged me. I was like, wow. That was like, wow, they're the best. 7 out of 12.
Here we go.
Coming out the best. So that's all I had for you. That was it. Because I know what you're saying.
I love it. You guys got your picks. I got my picks. But here's what we'll do here. I'll ask this to E and you guys want that action? Clemson versus New Mexico. You let me know.
Well, let's see if they get there. And then come see me, because I'm gonna need some retribution after what I'm watching with Virginia.
If you fellas want that action, New Mexico versus Clemson, you got my number. Let me know. You got until.
And for everyone out there watching, ZJ did call Colorado State over Virginia. They're up 20 right now. So man, he's got something cooking.
I know. I like the home teams, but I'm also I know the facts as well. I know good ball when I see it.
All right. Bet you do, Panama Red. I bet you do know.
6 others in front of you.
All right.
You got 6 other people like, what? The dude back there? Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool stuff,
you go.
ladies and gents. Off and rolling.
Yeah,
We're
let's
now
get
going to
to it.
roll over to the South region. We got the Soch man in-house. This is his specialty. Again, guys, if you're live in the chat and you got some teams you want to talk about, throw them in the comment section. Throw us some questions. We will dissect the teams with you. But I know Soch got some heat plays for you guys as well as the South region bracket.
Such a Rony Tony.
Yeah, we're gonna Rony Tony through this damn bracket. So, I mean, obviously here to start off first matchup, Houston Longwood. Not much to be said. Houston obviously rolling, taking them. Next one, Nebraska, Texas A&M. I like Texas A&M over Nebraska. I don't think they're as solid as people think, and I like the way Texas A&M has been playing as of lately. When I was going through their resume, it was hard for me to rattle off these things like Whit. I give Whit props when he rattles off and he just remembers them. I can't do that, but I do like their resume as of late. Then here we go in the Wisconsin James Madison one, 12-5 matchup. Wisconsin, yeah, they had their run in the Big 12 tournament. They obviously just beat Purdue when we were all watching that on the weekend. But Wisconsin, I think they're just a little bit too inconsistent going up against the team that's 31-3. James Madison, they got senior guards, senior bigs. I just like the way that they're going right now. I'm taking the upset right off rip. Give me James Madison to win that one outright. Then we go in Duke, Vermont. Don't really know too much about Vermont, to be honest. I'm gonna just keep it simple. I like Duke in that one, and I'm not really a crazy Duke guy when it comes to this year. But then we head over in the Texas Tech NC State matchup. NC State, I think you just when a team's this hot and they just got so much of a chip on their shoulder, a gritty team. They got Burns, the big dude that I don't think is going to be able to be contained on the Tech side. I'm gonna go NC State in that one to keep it rolling. They're about a 5-point underdog in that matchup. I like them outright to beat Tech. And then we head over then the Kentucky and Oakland. Kentucky has obviously had that choking bug for the past however many years where they just do not get it done. But going up against Oakland, I think it's a fair matchup for them. Kentucky got size. They got shot makers. They're just a team that competes, especially with Cal. He does have teams that play hard. So I'm going to go Kentucky in that one. Florida, between Boise and Colorado, obviously in any matchup when that happens, I'm going to just take Florida. I know Colorado has a good freshman, and Jalen Williams, his younger brother. What's his name again? I keep forgetting his name. DJ, that you were saying, top lottery pick?
Sorry, I forget his first name, but he's Jalen Williams' brother off of OK. He's the brother from the guy off of OKC. He's projected to be one of the top 3 draft picks in the draft. So he's awesome.
Yeah, I like
number one.
We love him, and I see it, but I like Florida in either of those matchups. And then we're going to go to Marquette, Western Kentucky, obviously Marquette. Heading back in the Houston, Texas A&M matchup, I'm going to go Houston. I just can't see them just not – I mean, if they do, it's not like anyone's going to be like, you dumbass. Like, no. So I'm gonna just stay with the guns on Houston. Then we go in Duke, James Madison. The reason that I'll say Duke in this matchup, the more I look at it, I just think that they're bigger enough, and I think the guard play can match. The Duke guards, they just can't all put it together on one game, and they haven't been able to do it for a little bit. Obviously, you got Tyrese Proctor, McCain, and then you got Roach. I think Roach has been solid in some of the March Madness runs that Duke has kind of put together. But I like Duke to end that little Cinderella story right there. Then we go North Carolina State and Kentucky. I like Kentucky. I just like Kentucky's full team. Obviously, they got Rob Dillingham. Who am I thinking? Reed Shepherd. He's going to be a lottery pick. I'm going to keep it with Kentucky. I think they're going to be able to – obviously, if you want to stop the North Carolina State team, you're going to have to stop Burns. And I think that Kentucky can do that. And I think that the tides will turn for Kentucky during this March Madness run. And then we got Florida and Marquette. Taking a wild shot. I'm going Florida. I think I just like their team. I'm trying to remember exactly how many freaking they have a solid lineup, and a lot of people that I've been watching, their best player or one of their top players hasn't even been playing that well. And I think this is a time where guys like that will step up. I don't really know too much about Marquette, to be completely honest. I've been doing homework the past couple of days. I just don't like them. Don't like Marquette, and on everything that I've heard, I really don't like Marquette from various people. Houston, Duke, give me Houston. Duke, don't like them when they get close to it. Houston defense, I think will get them troubles. Flip, I think this is just when everything comes down for Duke. I don't think they can just put it together. So give me Houston, and then give me Kentucky going up against Florida. Tides will turn this year for them, in my opinion. I hope I'm not wrong. And if I am wrong, this will be the last time I ever put Kentucky team, I don't care how good they are, to make
that's a rivalry game there, Sach. Kentucky, Florida.
Kentucky, Florida. Yeah, there we go. Back in the old matchups when you had Bradley Beal, Joakim Noah going up against the Kentucky.
That's a big football rivalry too. That's just a they don't like each other.
Well, they're not too far from each other either, huh?
No, that's the last time NCAA team went back to back. Were the
Florida Gators?
Noah's Florida Gators. Yeah.
Well, that was, huh?
Billy Donovan, man.
Billy Donovan back in the day.
Udonis Haslem was on. Wasn't Haslem on the first team? He graduated that year.
Was it UD?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, I'll just go ahead and last matchup: Houston, Kentucky. I like Houston's defense. I like their guard play. I think they have a couple lingering injuries over there, but I just got to go with Houston. I know it's a casual 1 seed, but I like Houston in that matchup, especially going up against Kentucky. I think Kentucky's success is going to rely heavily on Rob Dillingham, and because he's a firecracker off the bench, a guy that can score 30 plus a night if he was getting those type of minutes, and he's not even a starter. Going to be a lottery pick, but I think when you get that deep going up against the Houston team, I think the younger Wildcats will kind of fold to the pressure. So that's my bracket. Let me know what you guys think about that.
I like it, Sach. I really do. Like Sach was saying, Houston's defense is absolutely insane. I mean, they are crazy good when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. The only thing I disagree with you on, well, there's kind of two things I disagree with you on. I love your thing, and it's probably could go your way. I love NC State. I really wish NC State was the one playing Duke, because I think they could make a run, but obviously they're not going to get past Kentucky, I don't think. I think this is Coach Calipari's year, though. There's been a lot of talk of him making it back to the Final Four. I have Kentucky beating Houston to get to the 4 with really here. That one's a toss-up, though, because I really like I said, with Houston and their defensive scheme, I love them as well. I just think Kentucky's going to get the job done. And here you guys go. Say as you will on this one. And his name's Cody Williams. He's going to be the top, if not the number 1 pick in the draft. I think CU is going to get past Florida. I really do. These guys are really, really good ball team. I'm not just saying this to be a home, but they have an amazing team. They have 5 guys within their lineup five guys within their lineup that average double digits in scoring. So they are an all-around team. They get hot at the right moments. I really like them to go. We're not going to Marquette, obviously, but I do have them getting out of the first round.
So two things. 1, they got to get past Boise State. 1. 2, man, you running for governor? Like Colorado? 26?
They have the top draft pick of the league.
What year are you
and
running?
He's a freshman.
Hey, so that's an issue too. That's my 3rd. And then my 4th is I think that's the easiest region in the bracket. I really do. I think Houston got lucky in that region. I think Duke is what Duke is, man. You don't know who you're dealing with, and I don't think they have an identity. And then I like Kentucky down there, but again, I like Marquette more than most. I think the way they play and the way the tournament's officiated, that's why you always see like Marquette and some of these Big East teams will get to the Sweet 16 just because they play defense, they get after it, they hustle. They got a lot of pride, a lot of East Coast ballers there. So I always like Marquette in the tournament. And I like them to beat Florida. I think Florida is what Florida is. I don't know that they get past Marquette, but we'll see what Colorado Boise do tomorrow. But I don't have a lot of room to talk because I'm getting waxed.
I got Houston coming out of there too, Sasha. I like almost everything you had. Not that I don't like it, right? It's our own choice. The only thing I think is I have Texas Tech beating NC State, and I'll tell you why. I think the week off killed the momentum. They came in as a 10 seed in the ACC and won it, but they were playing every night, right? That you go back to the hotel, you win. I just think that I don't believe momentum can carry, from one tournament, have a week off, and then you pick it up right away. It may, but the only real difference I have with your whole bracket is I got Texas Tech coming out of there, but it still can happen. I mean, they shocked the world in the ACC and cut through everybody. So that's a good run.
What I like that this Burns guy, bro.
Burns is unstoppable, bro.
Burns guy on NC State. He was the guy we were talking about when they were. Remember, we were talking about him when they were playing Duke, and they could not stop him at all.
Yeah.
He is just,
like, who is this cat?
It's just hard to guard.
I'm not disagreeing with it.
He's huge.
Yeah.
The
momentum is where I think it
body in motion. So that's my only concern with that game right there. If you can find a way to stop him, I'd say they get it. But man, this guy is so underrated too. Like, I never really had anyone talking about him, but he's just a huge dude down below. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I'll just give my two picks. I think they're kind of goes without saying. Obviously, if I pick those two underdogs to win, I like NC State plus the 5.5 going up against Texas Tech. Obviously, if I'm not going to go out of the way and put money line, give me the 5.5. Close game, 8-point game, 6-point game. If anything, I like them to cover the 5.5. And then I got James Madison. This is my favorite one. I like James Madison to cover 5.5 as well. They're plus 5.5 going up against Wisconsin. I could see that happening. Obviously, with Wisconsin, they had their magical little run after they beat Purdue. Very well could have lost the game if they just had any athleticism, like Whit was saying last show on the guard position. They just let the guy just go get a free willy-nilly layup, not even contested. They could have easily been bounced right after that. James Madison, 31-3, killer team. To win 30 games in any conference is damn hard to do, and I think they got the guys to do it this year to at least get out the first round. With that being said, I have them winning outright, but give me the plus 5.5 going up against Wisconsin. I think they can go, point for point with these guys. And when it gets down and dirty in the final couple minutes, I like the team with experience and the wins. They obviously know how to close out games.
I love that.
I like those.
Love it.
Yeah. I'm on board.
Good shit, Sach. And now we come to, we need some theme music like the Colorado, we need to put the Colorado State flower up and
the main Colorado event.
State animal.
The main event.
He got Purdue coming out of that.
He does got the music.
All right, guys, here we go. We're rolling into the Midwest Conference. I really like this one. I think there's some sleepers here as well, but we're going to get after it. Obviously, you got Purdue coming out in the top section here. I don't really want to talk about the other team. Purdue's got one of the best players in college basketball, Zach Edey. He's the all-time leading scorer. They're going to do their thing here. Where it kind of gets interesting for me, though, is this Utah State TCU game. And I like TCU coming out of this one, fellas. This will be my first upset. Not a big upset, but my little upset. They got 9 Big 12 wins, TCU does, as well as people forget they did beat Houston this year, which I really like. So I see them as a strong contender. I got TCU over Utah State. This is another one that interests me a lot, and this is going to be one of my first plays that I throw out to you guys in the live audience. We got Gonzaga and McNeese. Kind of like what Foch was saying with James Madison, McNeese is also a 30-3 team, and they got a lot of veteran presence over on this team. They know how to win games. However, I am going to roll with Gonzaga to get this one. They got Coach Mark Few, very experienced head coach, has been to in this tournament many, many times. As well, they got Cam Ike. Shout out to the guy out of Aurora, Colorado. This dude is 6'9", 240. Their leading scorer forward. I really like his play. He's going to do some damage here. However, for my first play, ladies and gents, in this region, I will take McNeese plus 6.5 at minus 115. I'm in the same mindset as Soch is for his James Madison play. A 30-3 team. These guys know how to close out ball games. Like I said, they have a lot of veteran presence over at McNeese. I'm not picking them to win here, but I will always take the points here. This is going to be a battle of a game. I think Gonzaga's got their hands tied here, but we'll take McNeese plus 6.5 at minus 115. I love this play, ladies and gents. Really do. Next up, we got Kansas versus Samford. And Whit was kind of talking about this earlier. Kansas has some players hurt, not going to be able to play here. And Samford, remember this name, Ncaa. This guy is absolutely crazy over for Samford. Love this play as well as they got a lot of three-point ballers over here. This is going to be my first upset, ladies and gents. I am taking Samford over Kansas. I love this one. Really do.
The nuts on this guy.
No. Hey, and here will be I got 3 plays in my region. Here will be my second play. You got to take the points with these guys as well. Kansas is hurt, right? They're battling some injuries, everything about it. Take Samford plus 7.5 at minus 115. I think that's a great play for your money as well, guys. Always take the points here. This will be a close ball game.
I like that play.
Sure. I love that play. I really do. Next up, we got South Carolina versus Oregon. This is going to be you guys are going to be a little surprised on this one as well. A little surprised. These guys won. Oregon won the Pac-12. They're looking tough. They won the whole thing. They beat CU in the championship game. So you know where I am with this one. I am taking Oregon to beat South Carolina, ladies and gents. This is a tough ball club. I really think
like
Oregon's game is highly. I think their game is highly underrated, Soch. I think they're gonna do some madness here, and we'll get to that a little later. Next up, we got Creighton versus Akron. Not really much on this one. Creighton, good ball team. We will take Creighton over Akron. This is where it gets interesting as well, and I think you guys know where I'm going with this one. We got Texas versus Colorado. Colorado will be in it here. Again, 5 players that average over double digits points. They got a high variety of ball players. Cody Williams will be, if not the top, if not one, he will be number 2 in the NBA draft. So I will take Colorado to beat Texas here.
Colorado State.
Sorry. See, I'm totally off track. We got Colorado State here. They're gonna win. They're gonna beat Virginia. Thank you, Whit, for the free dinner. Appreciate it. I'll let you know.
Ooh, wow.
But we'll take. I'm taking Colorado State over Texas, guys. They have Isaiah Stevens. He's the top scorer in Colorado State history. Love their ball game as well. I think they are way better than CU actually, and we're gonna make some madness. This though is where it gets very interesting. We're going Tennessee over St. Peter's. Soch knows Dalton Connect. SEC champs over there in Tennessee, but Dalton Connect leads the conference in scoring. He's the SEC Player of the Year. He's from Thornton, Colorado. This is his senior season at Tennessee. He went to JUCO, then went to Tennessee. This guy is crazy. 30 points, 40 points. No. If you don't know Dalton Connect, though, you're out of your mind. I think he's crazy. Like I said, 30, 40-point games. We will take Tennessee over in this one. We'll go back up to the top, Soch.
Yeah, I got Tennessee.
I got Tennessee. I hope we have Tennessee over fucking St. Peter's.
Yeah, I got Tennessee over St. Peter's, but it's always
He's like, I got Tennessee.
No, these guys are crazy.
I mean,
All right, next up, we got Purdue, TCU. Obviously, enough said. We're going Purdue with this one. Not a lot to talk about here. This is where it gets interesting again because I think the McNeese-Gonzaga game is going to be pretty crazy with how good of a ball club McNeese is. I'm going to take Gonzaga here to go over Sanford. Again, veteran coach, been here so many times, great ball team. I love it. But this is where we get ballsy, ladies and gents. I think Oregon is a very underrated ball club. I don't think talk about it enough. I am taking Oregon over Creighton. I love this. This is a big upset here. And then, of course, we're going to take Tennessee.
Wait, you're taking Oregon over Creighton?
Oregon over Creighton.
Gotcha. Yeah, West Coast. He's all West Coast, man. I don't know how much basketball you watch on the East Coast, man, but them dudes are different, man.
Oregon over Creighton, baby. And then, of course, we are rolling with Tennessee. We're going with Tennessee.
Tennessee. Volunteers.
Volunteers.
All right. Back to the top.
Back to the top. We're going to take Purdue. Purdue is going to make it into the Elite Eight. And they are going to be joined by no other than Tennessee. And what is going to happen here, and I've said this in a couple of the past episodes, Purdue, again, they got Zach Edey, tough ball player, great ball player, if not one of the best in all of college hoops. However, their guards are really lacking motion and everything over there. I don't think they have game changers guard position. I think they're very slow, stagnant. I will take Tennessee to beat Purdue to make it to the Final Four.
There we go.
Oh, but my third play coming out of there because I had Sanford right plus 7.5. I had McNeese 6.5. My third play is going to be Oregon versus South Carolina. I will take the money line at even money plus money. We will take the Oregon money line versus South Carolina.
So I had Tennessee coming out of that region as well. I think Purdue's one-dimensional. I think their guards lack foot speed. Can't get their own shot. Zach Edey's been in foul trouble on multiple occasions. When he goes out, the plus-minus just dips. It's awful. So I like Tennessee to come out of that region as well.
I got Zach. I like it. I'll be honest with you. I don't have half those plays, but I do like it. I'll tell you why. Because it seems every year. Because listen, right? Every year there seems to be that one quadrant that you're like, man. After the first week, you're like everything's blown up, and these 8s and 12s are going on to the 16. Like you got. If it's going to happen, you kind of picked your side to make that happen. I have Creighton coming out of here, but it can all. Like you justified all your picks. I don't know about Sanford, but I mean that's you, right? You're getting there. I like it. I think you got a lot of upsets, and that's what happens. And there's always one side of this that you're like, the 1, 2, 3, they're all gone. You know, and it's these other ones.
Yeah, I think the difference
could be it.
I think the difference between like us and Jones is he recognizes good ball. You know, that's just what he does. He recognizes good ball.
Oh, I didn't do ball. I was 3-0 today, but I thought I could good ball. But
well, that's what Zach said. That's what Zach said earlier. The difference between me and you guys is I recognize good ball. You know, I don't know if it's basketball. I don't know if it's dodgeball. I don't know if it's.
Just out,
right, like
out.
I think the first three quadrants, right? All of us are kind of similar. Maybe 1 or 2 picks. You're all in, man, to win this between the 4 of us. You're all in. You're either going to lose, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? You're either going to lose or you're going to be all in. You're going to win by 5 games. So, yeah, and you justified it. And I don't have a Colorado student atlas to know who's played where and where they're out of. So I trust you.
So the thing that I like, I'll go off of it, like just before we talk about other stuff with the Tennessee. They're very. I've watched. This is one team, obviously, because Dalton Connect's from Thornton, so a lot of us like kind of keep in touch with that.
Zone.
I played his high school, you know, growing up. Had cousins that went to his high school. Played on the same AAU club with him. Obviously, he was about 5 years younger, so I very faintly remember him. The one thing so I've been keeping up with a lot of Tennessee games. they struggle when they play a team and they kind of get down. If Dalton Connect doesn't go off for 30-plus points, they fold. And obviously, he's capable of doing that 25-plus every game through the tournament. I agree with you. I have them going to the Elite Eight as well. The thing that scares me is just along the way is if he gets in foul trouble. He's gotten in foul trouble a couple of times the games that I've watched, and they just crumble as a unit. That's the only thing that I have issue with. I have them still going to Elite Eight, like I just said. I just really hope that Tennessee can hold their weight, because when you go to these deep runs, you need everyone contributing. You can't just rely on one player. And I think that they kind of get stagnant watching him do his thing, and and they lost a couple games doing that. But that being said, love Tennessee. I think they can definitely make it to the Final Four, Elite Eight, whatever be it. So
here's what I'll add real quick. Kind of back to our play wise and everything within our regions. Again, like I said, I really love Sach's James Madison play. And then, of course, like add the McNeese as well as Sanford with the, you get plus the points here. It's win or go home for these guys. You got nothing to lose here and everything's on there. Give you points like this. I think it's a good investment to put in within that. Like I said, I don't have McNeese beating Gonzaga, but I will take a 30-3 team going up against Gonzaga. I will take the points at plus 6.5. I think we see this every year. These games are close and down to the wire. Nothing to lose, nothing held back. You got nothing left to prove but to just ball out here. Big things happen.
You look at your two. Well, you didn't have that as an upset, right? But you look at Kansas. That's not the Kansas that normally is. They're a 4 seed. They've had their struggles this year. So that's
and they're hurt. They're injured.
Yeah. And then same thing, what you were just talking about. 3 weeks ago, if you were following college basketball and everything, 3 weeks ago, Gonzaga was a bubble team. They just got hot and got into their playoff and took off. So it's not unreasonable that you're right again. You know what I mean? And just to say I'll take the points, not the win. Yeah, why not, right? I mean, those are two teams that are vulnerable that I think when Vegas puts a number out, they know people are just going to think of the name. Hey, Gonzaga, they're always in the elite. They're always get Kansas. Come on, who doesn't know Kansas? And so the average Joes will pound that money, and you're cashing out with the points. Doesn't matter who wins the game. Just give me the points. Yeah, I like it. Exactly. I mean, that's 101 gamblers.
And then even going off of that, ZJ, when you were talking about the TCU Utah State, and you were saying like that was going to be your first underdog, TCU's 5-point favorites in the matchup. So that's one thing to, when people are looking at this, some of these plays the books and the committee may have got wrong. The books think that some of these guys are favored to win. Like I think even the New Mexico's favored in that one. TCU's a 5-point favorite, which is a big 5 points is big to be laying in a March Madness game as an 8 and 9. That's pretty big, especially with the 9 being favored by 5.
Yeah, I think a lot of what they do is they go off of like the rankings, right? So like Utah State finished the season. They finished the season ranked 18th. You know what I mean? But when you really sit back and look at it, like TCU wasn't ranked, but all of a sudden they're favored. Why? Because of the law of recency. You know what I mean? So I mean, you got San Diego State that finished at 24th. You had BYU at 21st. You had Utah State finish at 20, even with that loss. I mean, the Mountain West is pretty strong. But the top 4, Iowa State finished 4th, UNC 5, Tennessee 6. So you look at those things, Auburn 7. So going back to freaking UConn's bracket, what a gauntlet. You know what I mean? If you go up there and you just kind of rack and stack the teams that are, and you get outside the number 1 seeds, man, they got a dealt a hand, man. And Illinois 10, and Arizona finished 9th, and then Creighton comes in at Marquette sitting at 8.
Hey, Sach, so only because you're at that top box. Who's your Final Four, and who you got in the finals, and then the win?
Who would I have? Who do I have in the Final Four?
Yeah, and then Final Four, the 2 to the champ.
So my Final Four, I have I actually have Kansas. I have Kansas in my Final Four.
Okay.
Kansas in the championship game, long shot. Then I got Auburn beating UConn to make it to the Final Four, and I have North Carolina in the Final Four as well.
Nice.
So then I got North Carolina beating Kansas in the championship.
Ooh. All right.
I'm going dark horses. It's March Madness every year. I go. I'm picking upsets. Fuck that. Let's go.
You're good. ZJ, where are you coming out at? Because you're in the 2 box.
I got in the Final Four, I got UConn, Arizona, and then I actually got Kentucky beating Houston. And of course I got Tennessee, and I'm going UConn and Tennessee for the final game, and I'm going to take UConn to win. I think they're just an amazing ball club this year.
Yeah, good deal.
So I got only one number one in my 4.
Yeah. I have 2. So out on the one side, I have UConn going up again in the Final Four, taking on number 4 Bama. And then on the other side, I got Houston taking on Creighton. Sorry, Sach. And then I have the final will be Houston, UConn, with UConn winning. But it's just a guess by the time you get to that. But that's kind of how my Final Four rolls out as well. So I got 2 1s, a 3, and a 4 making it to the Final Four. Good stuff.
Whit?
Yeah, I have UConn, Arizona. I have UConn winning that matchup, and then I have Houston, Tennessee. I have Tennessee beating them, and I have UConn beating Tennessee in the title game.
Wow, look at you two coming together as one.
Yeah, I like that.
That's nice.
My favorite dude.
Oh, man. I think that's a good one. But George Mason, Butler come to mind.
That one's crazy. Yeah.
I think those are crazy. I think Butler because they made it to the actual title game, and then they went on with that same squad the next year and went deep in the tournament. So I'd say Butler because they came out of nowhere and they did it back-to-back years. And you kind of look who came out of there and what they did and stuff. But, man, George Mason was a Cinderella story, man.
Yeah. I'm just to go off and give mine. The one that I could faintly remember, which when I think I was in middle school when it happened, but do you guys remember Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast, when they took down Georgetown, made it to the Sweet 16, almost, they were close to pulling it off again, but that was probably the most fun that I've had watching a team in March Madness because they were just throwing fucking lobs left and right. Obviously, they didn't make it to the Elite Eight, the Final Four, like some of the other Cinderella runs, but I'll throw another one out there. Loyola Chicago, back in 2020, when they had Sister Jean and they were just running through everyone. That one was hella fun to watch. That was probably one of my obviously one of the deeper teams that made it. So I'd say that was the greatest underdog run in the history that I can remember. Was Loyola Chicago when they were just winning game after game.
So right, and you guys again, you know me, you don't going back east. Some of you may not have been here yet. 1985 before.
Oh, come on.
1985 when the Big East was basketball. Let me finish. The number I don't even know where they were seated, but Villanova defeated number 1 Georgetown in a Big East Big East final. It was their first championship. I know they were not a top 8 seed. I know that, but they went in and they beat Georgetown. That's your George. Your George. That's your Pat Ewing Georgetown. Yeah, that was something. That Villanova. Nobody even knew where that school was in 1985. This is way before Brunson and those guys did it. For me, that was my favorite run. But so, hey, if ZJ can quote Colorado students on every team, I could talk about the Big East. That's the way I feel. At least I got more states involved with it. Not just one area.
I thought you were going to say St. Peter's back up in Jersey.
Yeah, that was impressive. But that Villanova, because it just shocked, and it was big basketball then, right? You had ACC, you had Big East, and that was basketball. Yeah, there was nothing out west.
With the underdog one, I'm with Scotch, and I was with Wit. We were watching this one. We were watching Loyola College, and that I just remember all the memes going around with their dude. Remember that, Scotch?
With who?
Because the dude was kind of a weird looking dude on Loyola College.
Yeah.
Was he the white boy?
The white boy, yeah. He was torching everyone.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, so I remember watching that one. But for championships, the one I remember the most, and I was with me and Sach were together at this. We're over at Twin Peaks. Shout out Twin Peaks.
Oh my God, I remember.
This was the right. It was UNC Villanova, right, Sach?
Yeah.
Championship.
Yeah.
If you guys remember correctly, this came down to the wire, right? UNC had the league. Villanova pretty much ran it's kind of a quick play there. They had their best player bring up the rock, and it looks like
Archie Diacono was the stud.
It looks like he was get a chance to score the rock, but what they really did is pretty much a toss handoff in the backcourt to a 3-point shot to buzzer beater in the game.
Yeah.
That was the most craziest game I've ever seen. What year was that, Sach?
That was the first year I met you.
That had to have been like 2015, 2016.
That was 2016.
I remember that game.
That was crazy.
Wow. But you got to think, man. Last year was a good run too. When you look at Miami, UConn in the Final Four, and then you had Florida Atlanta 9 seed going against San Diego State. And when people say like UConn was a 4 seed last year, and Miami was a 5 seed. And then the Florida Atlantic San Diego State, remember that went into, I believe that went into overtime, and it was they won by a point. San Diego State did, but being out here in San Diego, that environment was good. And it was awesome, but unfortunately,
what do you say, Yucker Torque? What was your biggest upset? And if I said your name wrong, that's just my call of what I did. Disrespect.
You got it.
Our guy Torque.
Yeah, Torque. What's yours? We'd love to hear from you as well.
Well, we wait for him.
I'm the old head,
yeah. I hope he's still watching. But do you remember Rick Pitino before March Madness last year had UConn winning the championship? He was like, they got all the metrics to win a national title. They do everything right, and that was probably the last good thing that maybe Rick Pitino said. But I remember when Rick called
we as just gamblers and sports. We're so much with recency bias in that sense. UConn last year, UConn was having a good run through the Big East, but they lost to Marquette in the Big East championship, and then they're a 4 seed. Right? They probably would have been a 2-3 if they won it, but hey, you got it. Houston's still a 1 seed, but they lost. They lost to Iowa State. But before that, they won 11 in a row. It's like, damn, Jones's point with Denver, with the Nuggets, like how many do they got to win? They won 11 in a row. They're bound to lose 1, and they lost to that one. And then it's kind of like, hey, well, they did lose. There's a whole bunch of NCAA champions that didn't win their conference tournament. And again, this year, UNC. I mean, look at these teams that got beat in the tournaments. They'll be strong come this round, though. But yeah.
But real quick,
shout out to everyone. Stress, man.
Shout out to everyone in the chat, guys. We appreciate you guys, to all the live watchers and listeners. This is the BCS Bet Champ Show, guys. We are here for you all the time, throwing out picks your way. This is our March Madness bracketology. Be sure to share this with your friends. Give us a follow. Give it a watch back. See what you think. We're going to have more stuff coming. Obviously, when the tournament starts, we'll have more plays coming your way. But you guys are going to want to follow the page and toss it out to your friends. There's going to be so much action in this tournament. And I know we're going to be tossing out plays left and right like candy. Fellas, still got to think about what we're doing for each of our brackets. If we're putting a little skin in the game, a little action for the viewers and listeners. What's going on? Because it's us 4 now. It's us 4. And again, I'll leave this to Wit and E again. If you guys want to take that action on Clemson and New Mexico, I'm
gonna take it off. I'm gonna take it offline. We don't need to do it here. We'll take that offline. And shout out to the Mountain West, right? Even though the best team out there is New Mexico, it looks like they're going to get another team in. They're 17.
Yeah.
So, with a chance for Boise to get in next. But none of that matters with New Mexico out there. Best team out there. The only team that didn't make it appears, is the Air Force Academy. They're the only ones that didn't get in this tournament from the Mountain West. So,
you guys would be going crazy if Air Force got in it. Air Force is going. They're making it.
That'd be ridiculous. Yeah, they'd be gone. They'd be gone. It is what it is. The football team's legit, but I'll definitely give
tonight.
Offline, DJ.
Yeah, that'll do it for tonight's show, ladies and gents. Appreciate everyone being here. As always, you can always DM us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as X. Find us at the Bet Show Guy. We're here to answer all your questions. We'll do a quick around the room real quick for the last word. We'll start with Sach.
I'm ready to get going. We'll figure out our point system on, whose bracket quadrant, was better. We'll figure that out. Just really looking forward to just getting into these games. Like I said, got the whole week off. Me and ZJ might do something on Friday. Go head up and watch some games. We'll be texting, I'm sure, in the group chat nonstop about, what's going on. And yeah, I'm curious to see, out of all of our takes, the hot takes, which one really goes through. And I'm really looking forward to see which one does not go through, or it was just completely off. And it could be me. Florida could just destroy the first round. Maybe James Madison gets blown out the water. Maybe Tennessee gets blown out the first round. And could you guys imagine if CSU and CU made it to like the second round? I kind of want to see something like that. I think
ZJ's got them in the eights, but
there'd be nothing more exciting for me than to see if CU and CSU get past that first round. But
look,
like I said,
know.
Yeah.
It's March
Winners have to eat it.
Look,
March Madness for a reason.
Yeah,
Madness
fandom's
is
great
everywhere, and let's get it.
Look at what happened. I'm saying honestly, like fandom's great, and that's what I like about ZJ, man. And we all rep our teams, right? But look at CU in football. And for those of you that aren't in the state of Colorado, this whole state was a buzz last year when Deion came to town. I mean, it was awesome. You didn't have to be a CU fan to kind of follow what was going on and finally there's some energy and stuff. So, yeah, that's great. And be proud of where you're from and rep it. We got a CU-CSU final. That's the greatest. So, I don't know. We'll see what comes out of it. But I like it.
Got wit for the crowd.
So, you're mute. He must be dropping wisdom, too. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I said humbled by the 25-point shellacking Virginia took, where I lost. I got to order ZJ DoorDash or whatever tomorrow or sometime this weekend. But hey, Dodgers baseball season starts this morning, 3:05, 4:05 Mountain Standard Time. Padres, Dodgers, and then they got a little break before the actual season starts. But starts tonight, early morning tomorrow. I'm ready to get it going, man. I'm gonna have some suds. Hopefully we ain't watching no duds.
Wow.
You got anything, E?
Yeah, just hey guys, continue to follow us, and follow us. If we're putting money in your pocket, we're not asking for money. Just do us right, because we like to get to 500 followers. 3-0 again today with my afternoon picks. The guys got their prop plays out every day. I mean, we're winning. ZJ, if you're open for a suggestion, if you want to go ruthless, I'd have Whit order you whatever he orders. Make sure it's Thursday at 8 o'clock so you can eat it while we're doing the show in front of him and talk about how good that whatever you got tastes. Maybe you get some pie, some humble pie, and just eat it. That's going to be nice.
There will definitely be something posted on the socials about it, guys. But this is the Bet Champ Show. It's all fun and games. We are the best here for you guys, and we are ready to rock and roll. Let's get some more money in our pockets, guys. And we will catch you on Thursday for the After Hours show, as well as see you the morning for the NBA player props. But get ready to dance, baby. Let's do it.
Peace.
Thank you, boy.